How are you doing, everyone? I'm going to be doing the third episode of this like a podcast. A podcast I started out with about four days ago, probably, on greatness without criminality. So we can be great without being involved with crime. That is the goal and the objective of this our podcast. Greatness without criminality. And this afternoon, I'm going to be looking at excellence. Excellence. Let's look at excellence. How excellence can help you as an adult or as a young man, a youth, male or female, to be great. See, we are living in a world that is very, very sensitive to excellence. Very, very sensitive to excellence. And all over the world, people are paying so much money to buy excellence. Good afternoon, ma. People are paying so much money to buy excellence, excellence, excellence. Whether in the sporting industry or in the banking industry or wherever, excellence is a seller. It's a critical success factor. If you are very good, if you are very, very good at what you're doing, people will look for you. Men will look for you. Women will look for you. Nations will look for you. You don't have to cut off people's head to buy a big mansion or to buy a house or to buy a big car, a good car. You don't have to be criminally minded to live a good life. And one of the things that actually rob many Africans of the opportunity to climb higher in their career is lack of excellence. Lack of excellence. So when you do things over and over and over again with very poor values, and then you get to a point you begin to complain, nobody is looking at my side, nobody is patronizing me. Now, I have worked with a lot of artisans in Nigeria, artisans, builders, just name them. A lot of them are very, very, very dishonest, very dishonest. I have very few, one or two or three that are very good, but majority are dishonest. And myself and my friends, we have lost so much money dealing with people, particularly people within the real estate industry. If not that I have friends and I have people who are feeding from the real estate industry, I would have been doing a campaign to warn Nigerians abroad in particular to be wary of investing in Nigeria. We've lost so much money. I'm talking about people losing millions of naira. People will lie. They will give you all kinds of data. This house is costing this. This land in the next 3 years, it will be this. This document is genuine. I am the son of the ministry of whatever. I am. It's a lie. By the time you give money to them and you get the land, where is my documents? Where is my land? And they do it to people that are abroad. Now, how do you expect to be dishonest? How do you expect to be feeding on people's hard-earned money? People who are living abroad are going through a lot. It is -7 degrees now where I am, -7 degrees. In fact, the temperature has improved. The temperature has improved. It was -25, -18 degrees centigrade, very cold. So people make money in such an unfair weather condition, and they send it to you to do something for them, and you dupe them, you steal the money. There is no trace or iota of excellence in what you do. and then you expect to prosper. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Lack of excellence is one of the trigger for criminality. Lack of excellence. So when you are not good and you are doing poor jobs and people are not coming to you to patronize you, then you take laws into your hand and say, okay, if they won't come to me, I will force it out of their hand. I will steal money. Nobody is patronizing my business. So am I going to go hungry? I will kill people to make money. So we really need a complete overhaul, culture overhaul in Africa. I call it culture overhaul. It takes time. It's not easy. It's very difficult. Someone who has been doing something over and over again for 30 years, you don't want that person's job to just wake up in the morning and you're telling him to change it. In the world of business, change management is one of the most difficult things to do. I've worked in many organizations, world-class organizations. One of the most difficult things to do is to get people to change the way they are doing things. So this afternoon, I want to sell to you the culture of excellence. Excellence will make you great. Excellence will make you great. Doing things over and over and over again until you don't have one single error in that thing, until you are confident that there are no errors in what you are doing, will make you great. They don't look at the color of the skin. Nobody checks the color of the skin if you're a very good footballer. If you can score much more goals than Lionel Messi now, for example, Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo or Mohamed Salah or any of these top footballers, if you have the capacity to score much more goals than them, nobody is going to look at the color of your skin. They're going to sign you up. Once they test you in the training field, training ground, and you perform way above their best, you get the job. So the world is no longer competing on the basis of color. If you think color is limiting you, dare to be excellent. If you think color is limiting you, dare to be excellent. Some years back, I applied for a contract in a particular company. And there were two of us that were on the last scale before they made the final selection. One, a Chinese man, and myself. And they said they were going to give us an aptitude test. I was very angry. I said, this is embarrassing. How can you be giving me aptitude test before you want? Because they said, no. We want to test the way you are thinking. We want to test. Obviously, you have to do it because I wanted the contract. So they put myself and this Chinese man in the same room. And I felt intimidated. I said, wow, the Chinese people are very brilliant people. This guy is a wizard. I know them that normally they're very brilliant and intelligent people. So I was a bit skeptical. Then something came up in my mind. I said, what is going on here? This guy doesn't have two heads. This guy wasn't born by a goat. He was born by a woman. What is the aptitude test that you're going to give to us that I won't be able to pass by the grace of God? Given my level of education, bring the test here. So the guy sat on my left. I was on the right. I will begin. And I will say, I will be the best. I will be the best. I must succeed. I must come first. This guy cannot beat me. There is something that Norman Vincent Peale was an American pastor who wrote the popular book, The Power of the Plus Factor. Powerful book. The Power of the Plus Factor. And in that book, he said that it's a plus factor that God has embedded in the heart of every man. That plus factor is like an inherent ability to do more than others if you can leverage on it. If you can bring yourself above any mental limitation, if you can tell yourself that you can do it, even when it seems as though you cannot do it, he said you will be surprised at the potentials that God has planted in you. So I sat down in that room that day. I said, this white man, this Chinese man, why will I be seeing him as better than me? And then I deployed the plus factor in me. See, this particular aptitude tests, they mixed it together. I mean, very complicated, not like mathematics, but it had a lot of mathematical. It was a business environment anyway. So they made it very, very, very technical. I sat down and I demolished that test. When I finished and I was going home, I said, wow, well, what is the worst that will happen? They will call me and tell me that, well, I didn't make it. Well, no problem. I've gone through problems in my life and I've overcome them. So I'm not going to be moved. I got home in the afternoon, about 2 or 3 p.m. My phone rang and said, we are happy to tell you that you passed the test. You got the highest mark. I screamed and I learned a lot of lessons that day. So they didn't look at the color of the skin now. They didn't look at the color of the skin. They were looking at who is the best. Who is the best? So can you be the best in what you're doing and people will not notice you? You have not been noticed because you are not the best. Whether you're a nurse or you're an engineer, let your manager notice you. Let your boss notice you. Do that work so well that if they have to give an award to anyone in the organization, it will be you. Now, I'm not even talking about Christianity now. Because if I bring Christianity into the equation, it's another thing entirely. Excellence is one of the pillars for greatness in life. If you don't want to be excellent, you cannot be great. Do not allow what is going on in culture, popular culture, among some unscrupulous youth to redirect your heart from the culture of excellence to the culture of criminality. Criminality does not produce great people. Criminality, going into crimes, it doesn't produce great people. No, there is this man called Michelangelo. Michelangelo used to be one of the greatest painters the world has ever seen. Michelangelo can paint. If he paints a wall and you go back there, you would think an angel had painted that wall. So one day Michelangelo got a contract to paint a church. So he took one of his workers to the church. There was no one in the church. So they began to paint different portions of the roof. They were painting the roof of the church. So there was a particular portion of the roof that was in a very hidden corner, in a hidden corner. That portion of the roof was not exposed to people in the church. So if people were sitting down in that church, they wouldn't see this roof. They wouldn't see the portion. It was in an hidden corner. So when Michelangelo got to that hidden corner of the roof, he was spending more time painting and painting. And one of his workers that followed him said, why are you spending time on a part of the roof that no one will see? Michelangelo answered, God will see. God will see. Why are you spending time painting that place? You are wasting time. Just do a shabby job and leave it and go. The man said, no wonder he became one of the greatest. In fact, he won one of the greatest awards in painting. That is always the hallmarks of great men. Excellence. Excellence. When you do an assignment in school, read it all over again. Check the answer. Now, I used to tell my children, always have a second look. Always have a third look. So, and I tell them, sometimes I ask them to use the Hoover to vacuum the room. And children will rush and vacuum. I said, no. Go back. This room must be done excellently. And I tell them, the way you will do this room is the way you will do your work in the class. You know what? There was a former Navy SEAL. You know the Navy SEAL. Navy SEALs are commandos in America. Commandos. Highly trained, specialized commandos. This man had fought many battles for the United States and he had retired. So there was a particular year that a particular university was hosting their graduation ceremony. And they called this man, I forgot his name, to come and speak to the graduating set. A particular set of students that were graduating. So this guy climbed the podium. Everybody clapped. So when he climbed the podium, he was asking everybody. He said, you want to be great? How many want to be great? They all raised up their hands. Fresh graduates. They just finished their last exam. They were graduating. He said, if you want to be great, start laying your beds every morning. What is the connection? Start laying your beds every morning. He said, if you are not disciplined enough to lay your bed, you will never be disciplined enough to be great in life. When I saw that statement, I said, wow, little things little drops of water, they come together to make a mighty ocean. So when you see anybody who is great in anything, I'm not talking of criminals now who stole money. Pick any great person in any career, medicine, anywhere. Go and ask them what they did to be great. The secret of great men are in their stories. The secret of great men are in their stories. They have been doing small things well over time. And after 20, 30, 40 years, those small things came together. The aggregate efforts, their aggregate contributions in little specks came together to form a mass of impact. And then you will hear the greatest engineer, the greatest banker, the greatest scientist, the greatest. He wasn't great in a day. A great man is not born in a day. A great man is not born in a day. But what we have in Africa, let me use Nigeria as an example now, is because a lot of young people don't have many role models to model in their art the path to greatness. For the most part, a lot of the rich people that are great in quotes in Nigeria, many of them were great by being corrupt. There are few people who are great through excellence in Nigeria. But when the younger people are looking at the retinue of great people, and they are looking at what they are doing, and they are hearing them speak, oh, this young man who just became a councillor, became a local government chairman, this guy was very poor, was struggling, he could barely feed his family. Within 3 months, he has bought a mansion in Banana Island in Lagos. He has bought 2 houses in Asokoro. And the guy is driving a convoy of expensive vehicles. And this young boy, 13, 14, 15, is looking at his uncle. Within 3 months, he has become rich. So you want this guy to now go and pay the price I'm talking about, to spend 20 years building a career before he can become a millionaire. He won't do that. Because children copy what they see their elders do. Like I always say, every new generation is an improvement on the previous. Your children will always model your dominant values. Your children will always model your dominant values. Not what you are saying now, what you are doing. What you do carries more weight than what you say. Your children will always do beyond what you are doing. As I use an example on Saturday, my dad is 87 years old now, very elderly man. And he had been in academics for many years. He's a lecturer in university. As I'm talking now, my dad is still a part-time lecturer, 87-year-old man. My dad drives himself. He doesn't use glasses. We have done everything possible to get him a driver. Say he doesn't want a driver. No, there are some parents that are so energetic that you cannot do anything for them. My dad wants to do everything himself. We fight and fight and fight. So my dad can write. He sings. He plays the piano. He plays guitar till now. I have seen very few people that are as strong as that man. He drives himself at night without glasses. 87-year-old man. He's not living in America, not living in Canada, living inside the heat, inside the stress of Nigeria. He had never written any book in his life, but he's a writer. He will be writing on paper, writing in class for his students, writing his lesson notes, write songs for churches. He had been writing. I have piles of things he wrote, but he never wrote one book. I have written 12 books, published. And the unpublished articles I have written, if they were to be published in books, they can't be less than 700 books, to the glory of God, in my entire career. They can't be less than 700 books. That is one of my primary skills. Prolific writer, by the grace of God. Why am I saying this? Because I grew up looking at a father who was writing. He wasn't writing books, so something jumped into me from him. If my father was boxing my mother, beating my mother up, I would have copied the same thing. If my father was lazy, I would have copied. So parents have a lot to do with shaping this culture of excellence in their children. My dad will sit me down. He will bring this book. This book is called C.V. Durrell. If you have ever sat down with elderly people, or if you have a parent that studied engineering or mathematics or whatever, they may have used that book. It's called C.V. Durrell. It's geometry and mathematics that was used in the 1960s. My dad, all the books he used in his 1950s and 60s, he had them in his library. He brought them out and we sitting down. X plus X is equals to, as a young boy, I was maybe 3 years old or 4. I will say I don't know. So if I ask you the second time, you will not take a book out and explain X plus X. How many X's are there? I said 2. So that is 2X. So we will now come, okay, if X plus X is 2X, what is X plus 2X? That should be 3X's. I will say 2X. The next thing is a dirty slap on my face. Parents in the Western world today, we call it abuse. It wasn't abuse. Thank God for our parents. Some of us, if they had not scolded us, if they had not used cane on us, we will never be where we are today. If my father had allowed me to be wayward, I won't be here today talking on the phone, talking on the screen now. He disciplined me like he's going to warn me. When you come back from school, 4 o'clock, you go back to your class and saw your lesson. You have a private lesson. And then by 6:37, you eat your dinner, you go to bed. If I see you with football, so I will sneak out of the house to go and play football. And when I'm playing football, sometimes I will see him drive past the football field. I'm finished today. I will not start running. I have to run through the neighborhood so that I will run and get to the house before he arrives the house. One day he arrived the house before I came. Jesus Christ. He beat the hell out of me. Today, the man had so much shaped excellence and hard work and discipline in me that he requests for my messages. He uses my messages to prepare the lecture in their church. He's one of the leaders in their church in Nigeria. He uses my messages. He uses my materials, my books, to prepare their lecture in the church. He's so happy. He's so proud. He talks about me everywhere. The Bible is very perfect now. Train up a child in the way he should go. And when he grows up, he won't depart from it. Excellence is a choice. It's intentional. Parents have a role. You have to build it into your children. It's not easy. We are living in a very, very fast lane. Everybody is busy. Mother is going to work. Father is going to work. Children are coming from school. Sometimes in the Western world, when I was in the UK, the woman will come back home 6 p.m. The father or the husband is resuming work at 6:30. The two of them will exchange Oyster card. Oyster card is the traveling ticket we use from zone 1 to zone 6 to enter buses and trains in London. So the man will stay in front of the house. He cannot leave the house because the children are in the house, checking his wristwatch. So the boss will drop the wife. The wife will come, hey, sweetheart, how are you? He will collect the card from the woman. And the woman will resume with the children in the house. The man will go and jump on the bus. And there are times that they work overnight, sometimes, and they leave the kids at home. Sometimes when they have 12, 13, 14-year-old kids, they can stay at home. And a lot of parents actually leave the gap in knowledge for their children. Gap in knowledge, gap in excellence. Excellence is a choice. You either choose to be excellent or you choose to be a mediocre. Mediocrity has consequences. Someone has said, if education is expensive, try ignorance. Try ignorance. Let me tell you what developed my writing career. Now, I was working with a mining company in South Africa many years back. And I was reporting to a South African manager. This woman was part Australian and partly Australian and partly South African. She was very hard, very difficult. So when I write reports and I submit a report to her, she would just take a red pen. I was not in the school. This was an organization. So you're working in a company and you're reporting to someone. So why is she treating me as if I'm a student? I will be very angry. One day I called somebody. I said I was going to quit this job. And the person was begging me. One of my friends said, don't quit. Endure it. You are learning. I said, I can't. The woman is disrespecting me. Thank God for the Holy Spirit. She will tell me, no. Don't they train you how to write in Nigeria? You these Nigerians. I started polishing my writing skills. Started polishing. started polishing. She started telling me, no, this is what you do. This is how to write professional letters within an organization. This is a manager that should have reported me, because it wasn't a job to be teaching me how to write. I was a consultant in that company, massive company. And by the grace of God, I endured it. So I now went back to do a postgraduate program in a university in South Africa, University of Pretoria. So I did a particular course, engineering management. That was, it's a course module. So not like the main course, it was one of the modules. So one day I submitted my assignment to the professor, and the professor replied me again. He said, what you have done already earns you a failure. I have never had that in my life. A typical Nigerian professor would have failed you. He said, I won't fail you. He said, go and rewrite the assignment. I said, what is the problem? He said, there is no wow factor in your work. That was the day I had, the first time in my life, I had wow factor. In the UK, they were doing X Factor. When I got to the UK, I started watching X Factor on the TV. But that was the year they began X Factor. So an X Factor is the same as wow factor. X is just extraordinary. So the guy told me, a professor, he said, there is no wow factor in your work. He said, it's not about the content. What you have said is true, but the way you presented it, it is not wow. I will fail you, but I'm giving you the last chance. And I went to a friend of mine who was doing another program. I said, look at the email of the professor. The guy said, they shouldn't have even written you. We should have failed you immediately. That was the beginning. Coupled with my experience with the manager in the company I was a mining company that time. With this one, I said, no, I never knew I had a destiny in writing and speaking and teaching. I never knew. And I began to correct my writing skills. I began to correct it. I began to read books. I began to learn from others. I must be excellent. I must be excellent. I must be excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, God helped me, but I also was hardworking. By the time my writing skills came to the fore, by the time years of labor and training came together, I never knew I was going to have a doctorate degree. I never knew. Those things were not in my heart. One thing led to another thing, and I was graduating. Doors were open. I was graduating until, by the grace of God, I got to a point. I have edited more than 50, if I can remember, PhD theses for different people in different universities all over the world. More than. I've edited hundreds, probably 500 master's theses. I wrote to a point that when I was doing my doctorate degree, my supervisor of the university sent me a letter. They said they will not pass my thesis. One of the reasons, said, you are writing too much. They said, you are writing too much. They said, you are writing 100,000 words for something we needed just like 50,000 for it. They rejected my thesis. And they told me to go and scale them down. It's too much. You are writing too much. That did not happen overnight. Excellence is intentional. You have to keep doing it. Keep doing it. You don't become excellent overnight. Where your own excellence stops, somebody else's excellence starts. Because you cannot divorce greatness from excellence. You can't divorce it. The two of them are intricately connected. You can't divorce it. Nobody wants to pay money in this society we are living in now to buy rubbish. Nobody has time. There are so many competition. If you think you are the best, there are other better people that are everywhere. So if you are messing up, somebody else is warming up. There are many people that will replace what you are doing. We have master's degree is nothing now. It's like pure water, if I can use Nigerian language. So you can't be boasting and be doing whatever you like and you expect to get to the top. I began to write. There will be errors. I will correct the errors. When I now employed people to work for me some years back, about 5 years ago, I was doing a company. I had a company in Nigeria. And when I read the emails sent to me by some of my staffs, I said, what's going on here? All kinds of typos, errors. These are master's holders, bachelor's degree holders. And I will be fighting. I go and correct that message. Is that how you're communicating with customers? You will be using ad for have. As many have. You You can't say many people has gone to work. That is bad English. Many have masters older. So I began to correct them. Eventually, I fired some of them because they were just misbehaving. And I mean, we paid them off anyway. We paid them handsomely. Now, I'm using my example. There are other people that are doing other things that I cannot do, and they are doing it so well in the software industry, hospitality industry. You go to some restaurants, you cannot eat there. You can't eat there. There are some restaurants that are self-inviting. Even if you don't want to eat, you buy drink because the place is so beautiful. That is one of the things that sell people in this day and age. Excellence. And we need to actually begin to develop this capacity in the hearts of our young people, our youth. You cannot teach a 70-year-old man excellence. It is going to be hard. The Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, not train up an adult. You can't train up adults. They will rebuff. Am I a baby? You are disrespecting me. How can you be teaching me how to write? No, it's going to be difficult. You train children, young people, because they are malleable. They are easy to bend. Most adults are like crayfish. You can't bend them. They will revolt. They will revolt. Is that somebody coming to me now and be teaching me how to write? I will be angry too. And we have to say it in a way that I will accept it. I'm being natural. That because you are teaching an adult, except the person is your boss who has authority over you, or your parent, or a very good friend. You can't just find a stranger coming to your house and telling you, I want to teach you how to train your children. Will you open your door? You will not. Say, how dare you? That is how training a child, excellence is different from training an adult about excellence. And one of the challenges that we are facing in Africa, in particular, Nigeria, for example, is we have a generation of young people that are mediocres. Not everyone now, but a large number of young people. And sometimes I don't give them the blame. What is the quality of education that we are giving the people? What is the quality of education in our schools? Almost all Nigerians that came to this country have to retrain. All of us went to school. We have to retrain. All Nigerians that I know, not one exception. You are a doctor, you must retrain. You are a nurse, you must retrain. Write exams. Pharmacist, you must retrain. Engineer, go back to school. All of us went back to school. It wasn't like that in the 70s. Things have so much degenerated. I did a program and I was on the radio in Nigeria about 3 years ago. I was talking about these things. How do you expect a lecturer with a PhD to be earning 250,000 naira and you want that lecturer to give his best? 250,000 naira is less than $1,000, about $500. And this guy has contemporaries all over the world who are earning more. Because the quality of output is determined by the quality of input. It is what lecturers have been fed with. It is the environment, the enabling environment you create for lecturers that will bring out the best in them. Now, the Nigerian government, they don't know that they are shooting themselves in the foot. Yesterday, I saw a report that the Nigerian government, President Buhari, is speaking to the European Union that they should work with Nigerian government so that Nigerian youths will not be migrating to Europe. Is that how you control migration? You want to control migration using dictatorial approach. In migration theory, there are things that are called push and pull effects. Push, pull effects. What are the factors pulling people out of their country? Primarily, it is economic. More than 70%, academic research has shown more than 70% of the reasons for migration are economic related. People want better life. So you are paying a lecturer $450 per month, and you are saying you should not go to the UK where it's going to be earning £5,000 per month. That is madness. I have a friend, well, not a very close friend, like distant friend. We lived in the same building many years back in this country. The guy was a medical doctor working for a teaching hospital in Nigeria, I think in Abuja, I can't remember. The guy relocated with his family, the first salary he had, first salary, after passing his medical exam as a junior doctor, first salary was about $30,000 per month. $30,000. He bought a 7-bedroom mansion the same month because he had money. The banks were begging him with a mortgage. 7-bedroom mansion. Bought a brand new car for the wife. $30,000 per month. Take that salary to anywhere in the world, any company in the world, any bank in the world. They'll be begging you with money. That guy can never go back to Nigeria. And there are so many people. If I begin to mention names to you, mention cases to you, these guys left Nigeria for economic migration because there are push and pull effects. So you can't be paying a lecturer $250,000 per month and you expect that guy to die in the classroom, to die, to kill himself. They just give students what they deserve or what they don't deserve. And if you're not careful, they will fail you. It is in Nigeria, a lecturer will come to the class and they will tell you, since I started taking this course, only 2 people have got 70% and above. So I'm just preparing your mind. All manners of things going on. By the time you check what is happening, this guy had been abused. He spent 12 years doing his PhD because he was supervised by a very, very wicked supervisor. And when he spent 12 years, they placed him on 200,000 naira salary per month. And you are coming to class. You say, I'm a PhD student. And he will make sure he allows you to go through what he has gone through. So a wise leader, a wise government, a good government will create enabling environment. You don't go to the EU and you're telling the EU government, I want you to discourage Nigerians from traveling. Don't give them visa again. That is chaos. You cannot stop people from migrating. It's their fundamental human right. You can't stop people from migrating. They will go. You cannot, you are beating a child. You are saying it should not cry. I can imagine what my life would have become now if I was in Nigeria. To the glory of God. The salary I earned in 1 month, my first job out of Nigeria, was what I earned for a whole year while working in a bank in Nigeria. 1 month. 1 month. I got a job with one of the biggest banks in the world that time. That was like, I'm talking about 11 years ago now. So you're not telling me now to drop that and go back. No, it doesn't work. You build your country. You develop your country. You create enabling environment that will make people to be excellent. Everybody is not going to travel. Everybody is not going to leave the country. But let the country become a tourist center. Let people be coming from other countries and relocating to your own country. That is a visionary leader. That is what is called visionary leadership. I want my own country. Have you seen how Dubai looked like 30 years ago? It was like a wilderness 40 years ago. They developed that country, Dubai. Within 25 years, 30 years, Dubai becomes one of the wealthiest countries in the world because of visionary leadership. How many citizens of Dubai do you see living in America, living in Germany? They are living in that country because they are paid very, very competitive salary. So the issue of excellence is you can't exhaust it in academics, in business, in government. Once you have mediocres as leaders, it will affect the outcome, output. The young people, the youth, they will never think of greatness in the direction of excellence. Sorry, they won't think of excellence in the direction of greatness. They will always look for shortcuts because there is no reason for them to be excellent. In fact, we now have people who say it. What is the value of being excellent in Nigeria? After you are excellent, what will happen? How much will you be paid? So in building a great country, you don't just wish it. A nation is not great because of the value of its wealth. A nation is great because of the wealth of its values. Excellence. Excellence. And excellence and quality, they are husband and wife. Husband and wife. Greatness without criminality. And one of the things that I have started to do is to talk to young people, because it's easier to win the heart of young people than the heart of adults. Don't go into crime. Don't go into crime. You can become great without shedding blood. You can become great without shedding blood. You know, I shared a story a few days ago. While we were growing up, we were teenagers. I had 2-3 friends with whom I played. We worked together. We had a triangular lifestyle: church, school, and home. Church, school, and home. There was no time for girlfriends. We were believers, strong ones for that matter. I remember those times when some girls would be waving at me when I'm walking on our streets. So anytime I remember that, I just be laughing. Had I impregnated any woman at that time, I wouldn't be where I am today, to the glory of God. Maybe I would have married when I was 20. And you don't know what early marriage can do to a man, or even to a woman. When you're not prepared and you enter marriage because somebody is carrying a baby for you, it would have derailed me completely. So a lot of people that are actually frustrated among our youth today, it was because they didn't have a proper upbringing, or they made a mistake that derailed them. All of us that are doing the little we are doing today is just by the grace of God. God just helped us. All of the people that were my friends in those days, every single one of them, I'm talking about my close friend, they focused on excellence, excellence, excellence. They focused on their academics. They focused on today. All of them today, they are so great people. I went to see one of them. He came to my city here about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, 2011. 11 years ago. He works with Dell, the same Dell company, the Dell that makes computer. And I was asking him, I said, oh, that's a very good job you are doing. And we're talking about wages and incomes that people of his standard are earning. So how much do you earn? I said, no. He said, I don't earn salary. I earn commission. So he sits down with Michael Dell. Michael Dell is like Bill Gates. And they have meetings with executives and executives. So if Dell makes $100 billion as revenue in a year, they give their directors, executives 1%, 0.2%, 0.5% of 100 billion. This guy was very poor. This guy could barely feed himself 3 times a day, but excellence. He focused on his academics. He was never stealing money. He never ran after any girl. He was just reading his books, home, and church. Books, home, and church. It was a triangular life. There is nothing this guy wants to buy today. There's no house he cannot buy. Young people need to hear the stories of people like this who are not stealing, who are not into yahoo, who don't shed blood, but they are still great. You can be great without criminality. It is the devil and the evil in our society that are deceiving these young people. That the fastest way to wealth is money. People don't live long who do that. People who go through shortcuts, they are cut short eventually. They are cut short eventually. You don't have to be a criminal to be great. Oh, my friend that did it, he got away with it. He has bought houses now in Lekki. Go and look at their hand. Give him 3, 4, 5 years. You heard the story of Hush Puppy. When Hush Puppy was painting the internet red. Go to Instagram now. You will see all his followers. Many of them have left. They have disappeared. He bought houses everywhere. Where is he today? If the Bible says the blessing of the Lord makes rich and adds no sorrow to it. I shared the story of a young man. This guy is 28 years. He's into IT. I shared it on my timeline about a week ago. The guy is into IT. He came to this country as a teenager and he went to school. He had a bachelor's degree and he began to work hard, work hard, work hard, work hard. His first job was $45,000 an annum. For somebody of his age, at 21 years old, that was a lot of money. After tax, his salary will be around 3,000 plus every month. That was a lot of money. He couldn't have earned half of that or a quarter of that in Nigeria at his age. He kept doing it. All the available exams in software engineering, in computer networking, he was doing the exam. MCP and Microsoft's certified professional, MCP, whatever, he was doing it. Step 1, he passed. Stage 2, he passed. Then if you go online, he'll be searching for all the exams. He was coming first. He focused on X. I must be the best. The guy got 2 jobs. The first job, they offered him $200 and something thousand. The second one was 400,000 plus. He called the first company, said, I don't want your job. He went to the second one. 28-year-old Nigerian. He's not a Christian, he's a Muslim. 28 years old. And he said his target is $1 million. So all the remaining exams that are in the world in that field, he's searching for them again, talking to people in his class now. Once he passes that exam, he moves up again to 600,000. 28, he'll be 29 this year. Excellence, the mother of distinction. Excellence, the father of greatness. You're listening to this evening and you're tired. How is my life like this? You're a Christian. I've not quoted one scripture since I began. And I want to be deliberate about it. I don't want to quote scripture. This is not a ministry. This is like a seminar, like a podcast. Can you take a look at what you're doing? Take a look at your life. Why are customers not coming to you? Why are you losing customers? How respectful are you? You give people 10 p.m. appointment for 10 p.m. 11:30, you have not been there. You don't keep time. You don't keep promises. You violate contracts. And then you want to sustain customer loyalty. You don't have to go abroad before you prosper. Nigeria, for example, very difficult and tough country. I have piles of messages in my inbox from different people. I know how tough it is. My family is in Nigeria. We talk every day. I know how difficult. In spite of that difficulty, there are people who are still prospering. Everybody will not live abroad. Everybody will not live abroad. If you have the means and capacity and God is leading you in that direction, do it legally, no problem. If not, while you are there, I didn't jump from heaven to abroad. I went through rigor. I grew through my process. I suffered. I walked sometimes kilometers without transport fare in Nigeria. I went through the process. I went to school there. I graduated there. I served in Nigeria. I worked in Nigeria. So it wasn't, I'm not saying giving you a textbook experience. I have personal experience. By the time I left, I was doing well financially. I had a good job, working one of the biggest banks in the country, without stealing money, without knowing anybody, as in I know the commissioner, I know the governor, without just a product of hard work and the grace of God. And there are other people I know who are doing well in many industries in Nigeria too. And they are living their good life. They are not stealing money. But we have a generation of young people now that are departing. They are departing. And if an adult is concerned, if you care about greatness, even as an adult, what I'm telling you is relevant to you too. I'm not speaking to children. And in fact, I'm talking to you. Nobody outgrows excellence. Nobody outgrows excellence. As I'm talking to you now, I am still growing. I'm still learning. If I am working anywhere tomorrow, or I am doing a project for anybody tomorrow, I must still be excellent. You have to be excellent to the grave. Until you are 100 years old or whatever age God takes you off, takes you away, you have to be excellent. Because excellence can open any door. Excellence can open any door. It can open any door. I will tell you a story as I close. There is this Belgian gentleman. He's an engineer. He's a Belgian citizen. He lives in Belgium. So he used to come to Nigeria to bid for contracts with one of the oil companies, with NNPC. He's a white man. He lives in Belgium. I don't know how he connected himself to Nigeria, but he was always coming to Nigeria, and he was coming to NNPC. He was trying to get a contract from the Nigerian government. So he would go to NNPC, apply for oil and gas license, and all this. He was doing so they approved his contract, his license, and was dealing with NNPC Nigeria. So, but they were cheating him. But because he was a white person, he didn't know they were cheating him. They will give him letter of whatever, the contract letter, and they will ask him to pay this, pay this, pay this. All the money he was paying was going back to the pocket of some people in the company. So the profit he was making was very low, but he did not know. So one day he came to Nigeria again, and after he finished all his paperwork for a particular project, he was walking out of the office, and a Nigerian engineer just saw him and went to him and introduced himself. He said, "My name is so and so. Can I read the document in your hand?" The guy read the document and said, "I knew they have been cheating you. My name is so and so. If you don't mind, I can help you correct these errors." The white man could not believe himself. So this gentleman helped him. He said, "Well, next time you come, this is the office you should go. Don't meet this man again. Send an email to this." He organized it, and the man, all the money was paying as bribes, all the over bloated expenses that are included in his budget filtered away. The man was very happy. So he went back to Belgium. At a particular time, he came back to Nigeria again. He now had so much money, and he said, okay. I want to come and start my own oil and gas farm in Nigeria. He had made so much money. And he brought money again from Belgium. Guess whom he went to? He went back to NNPC to go and find this man. He said, "Please, I want you to come and help me run this company." And the man said, no, I can't do it. He said, "I can do it too. I am a Belgian. Even when I was collecting contracts from the NNPC, they were cheating me. Now imagine if I start an oil company and I'm employing Nigerians. I can't guarantee that they will not run down the company." After much persuasion, he gave that guy a mouth-watering offer. "I will pay you this, I will pay you that, don't worry." So he told the Nigerian engineer to resign from NNPC, and he gave him an offer with mouth-watering salary. You know what happened? The Nigerian guy resigned, and they started the company. He now said, "Let's do something. I want you to be the MD. I will be one of the managers." The man said, the white man who is the owner of the new company was telling a Nigerian man, that Nigerian man, "You will be the MD, I will be the man said, "No." He said, "Let's do it like that. I don't know Nigerians. You know them very well. So don't worry. I will pay you the MD salary, but obviously the profit of the business is my own. So, but don't let anybody know. It's between me and you. I'll be the manager. You be the MD." So they agreed, and they began the business. The company was located in Victoria Island in Lagos. The company is still there now. Big oil and gas farm, consulting farm. And they were expanding. They began to hire people, employ people. It was growing. They were making profits. And so a particular year, they needed to employ a new accountant, like an accountant. Yes, an accountant. And they did all their recruitment. It was this Nigerian MD that did everything. The Belgian man was a manager. He just pretended. He would go to work every day. Nobody will know that he was the MD. He would just pretend. So they eventually they employed one accountant, very brilliant man. The man was so brilliant. He knows his job very good. But no sooner had they employed him than they began to notice that he was a very competitive, jealous, envious person. He was always having issues with people in the company. What's going on? And sometimes people were fired because of him. He would go and expose people and tell them that they stole money. And because he was an accountant, he would present papers, show evidence. So people knew him in the company and were avoiding him. But this guy was so envious. According to the reports, Anytime he's working in any unit, any division in the company, he always wanted to be number one. If he was working in the finance, he wanted to be finance manager. So he will make sure he pull down the person that is occupying that seat. So they posted him to the same division where the original owner of the company was working. Don't forget, the original owner of the company was a manager of finance. He chose that office so that he could monitor the finance of the company. So this new accountant was posted to work with him, and he began his usual problem. He started fighting this man. He didn't know he was the manager. He was the owner of the company. He started all his problem. It would make his life difficult. He will be creating errors in the documents of the finance of the accounts of the company, just to cause problem for the man. But the man endured it. He said, well, these are Nigerian people, and I don't want to have any problem with them. So he left him. One day they were trying to do a contract, a big contract, and the contract proposal was sent to the manager of finance. This manager of finance is the owner of the company, the original owner. So that they sent it to him. The MD sent it to him to take a look at it. And so he looked at it. It was the following morning that they will sign it, and then they will send it across to their partner. This accountant said, I will deal with this man. I will deal with this man. Because he wanted his job. He wanted to be the manager of finance. So when this manager of finance went home, this accountant stayed back at work, and he quietly went to his office, because in the corporate world these days, they don't lock the offices of the executives. I mean, they don't lock. They use open door policy. So he could open the door. He went in. Nobody was there, and he tore the proposal into shreds. He tore it and left the torn papers on the table of the manager of finance, and he went home. Very early in the morning, the manager of finance came to work. When he got to his office and he saw his table, he saw the proposal torn, he screamed. He said, oh my God, oh my God. So he quickly called the MD. He said, who did this? What is going on? The MD summoned a meeting, emergency meeting, in the conference room, all the staff of the company, everybody. And the MD said, what is going on here? The manager came to the office this morning and found that the proposal of a very important contract had been torn. Who did this? You know what? Before the MD summoned everybody to the office, the MD told the manager of finance to remove the CCTV recording in the office. This accountant did not know that the manager of finance had a CCTV in the office, which recorded everything that happened. So they had already seen it, but they pretended. So they summoned everybody to a meeting, and the manager and the MD began to lambast the manager of finance. Don't forget, the manager of finance is the original owner of the company, but he pretended. He told this MD, he told this guy I told you about to be the MD of the company, so that he could be the manager, because he was coming to Nigeria for the first time to start a business. He didn't know Nigeria. It was a Belgian, a white man. So when he got to the conference room, the MD, who was the fake MD, sat in his normal chair. The manager of finance, who is the owner of the company, sat on his chair, and other people were sitting down. And suddenly, the MD stood up, and he went to where the manager of finance was, and he told him to go and take his position. Everybody was looking, wow, what's going on here? Are they doing a promotion today? The manager of finance, the white guy, the real owner of the company, went to sit on the MD seat. And the manager of finance and the former MD now said, I'm going to tell you a story you don't know today. And he told somebody to put the CCTV footage in the TV or whatever, and they played it. And they saw this accountant walking into the office, and as he was tearing the paper, they saw everything. The man collapsed. And the original MD, who had left the MD seat now, said, let me tell you a story you don't know. He now told them this story. He said, the man that is the manager of finance is actually the owner of the company. He's the MD of this company. Before they finished speaking, the police had arrived. and they whisked away this man. They terminated his employment. This job, he was being paid in dollars. This is not a fabricated story. This man was being paid in dollars. Traveling allowance, dollars. Holiday allowance, dollars. Wardrobe allowance, dollars. He killed his career. Greed, covetousness, lack of patience killed his career. They hired a new accountant, and the company moved forward. The guy has lost. He had been working for like 3-4 years in that company. All the work experience he had lost, because if he asked them for reference, they won't give it to him. In fact, if they give him reference, he himself will not go back and ask for reference, because he knew that any new job he's trying to get, he has lost the job. Lack of excellence, which is equal or the same as mediocrity. Poor quality, resentment, envy, jealousy. All those things make up for lack of excellence, as in are equivalent to lack of excellence. If you can just become excellent and just make up your mind, I will be doing things well. Anywhere I appear, I must be the best. You are not being proud. There is nothing wrong in wanting to be excellent. Don't allow anyone to twist the Bible. I was hearing somebody, one of my wife's friends was saying something recently, and he said, God can use anybody. God, I said, no, ma. Don't twist. I was saying to my wife later on, say, don't twist that statement beyond. Go and look at all the people God used in the Bible. 99% of them were solid people. Strong, skillful, talented. David, Joseph, Daniel, they were solid people. Don't ever think that God will leave skillful people and go and pick tardy, mediocres. Don't make that mistake. It's only once in a while. After God has chosen 100 excellent people, he will not choose one to make a point. Look at Abraham. God called very, very hardworking, serious people. The Lord Jesus was not a tardy, lazy. He was a carpenter. He was hardworking. Paul, oh my God, one of the most intelligent human beings in the Bible, Apostle Paul. He was trained by the most enlightened man, Gamaliel. Solid man. God wants the best. God uses the best. So don't say, I'm a Christian. Whatever I do, the favor of God will cover it. My friend, favor only answers to excellence. If you intentionally decide to be a mediocre, forget about favor. I'm choosing my words. I will be a mediocre. I won't do things well, and God will favor me. If that is your thought, you're wasting your time. Give all the money in your account. Nothing's going to happen to you. You must be consciously and intentionally committed to excellence. That is what breeds greatness. Men will look for you. Even if you are under the ground, they will find you out. If you are the best tailor. When I was in Nigeria, there's a tailor I used. That tailor, you have to walk through different enclaves. You know those enclaves in Ibadan? To get to his office, to his shop. I will leave the city because this guy, when he makes trouser for you, it's like they put you inside the trouser. It's like his trouser is like a British trouser. With myself and my friends, we were working in banks in Lagos. We come from Lagos. Leave all the superstar tailors in Lagos. There are good tailors, tailors in Lagos too. But we will leave them and we will go to Ibadan and find this man. We will go inside different enclaves. By the time you see us in his office, we say, we are coming from Lagos. He will abandon the other work he's doing because we are coming from Lagos. Because he was so excellent. Even if you are under the ground, people will fish you out if you are excellent. And I'm going to bring this to a close now. Please, this is just our own contribution to developing the future of our country and our youth in particular. And adults also need to hear these things we're saying. Greatness without criminality. Episode 3. I'm going to have the fourth episode tomorrow or Friday. And we're dealing with another issue as well. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. See you again very soon.